Hey, it's Mark, Single Car Garage. Welcome back. We're working on the 36 door panels today. I got in the rest of the parts that I was needing, so let's go ahead. This is automotive door panel cardboard. It is waterproof and compressed. And I decided to, I ordered extra because I'm going to make new door panels. The old ones are in great shape. But I just thought I'd do everything new. So let's go ahead and get started. So we'll take the old door panel, lay it onto the new material, and then we will cut a template to start with. So let's get that done. Okay, we got this laid out for our template. When I put this on the car, I don't like the way it fits the old way. So what I want to do is make it about 1/4 inch wider. And how I'll do that is with paint sticks. And I've got a little bit of a curved area here. And I will just do that. That works out pretty good. Let me do one thing here. I was gonna leave it kind of squared up. I need to still the same deal, but let me just go ahead and straight up. I've got a curve in the door, and I want to bring this on up to here and then back down because I'm going to cover this a little bit different. One of the things that made me, I needed to buy some of this anyway. I was going to use this old, and I got to looking at it, and it's not too used up, and I'll be able to use it on some other projects. But this comes up and goes down, and that's not how they had theirs cut originally. Straight across, and I don't know what they did with the rest of the door. But I wanted it to fit the door, and since this came in, I'd had it on order for a while. That way I can mark it and cut it the way I want it and make it fit. So let us take this over and get it cut. And what we'll do, I had it lined up, the bottom side's pretty straight. So we'll cut this straight up through here. Then what we'll do is marry it to the door, and I'll do the cut on the top. So let's take this and get it cut. Come on with me. What I'll be using to cut it is this air tool right here. Made to cut metal with or anything. Actually a fine tooth on it, and it cuts this real well. And you can maneuver it around if you've got shapes and stuff. So let's get this thing cut. Now that we got it cut, I held it up to the door, took a pencil and traced on the back, and that's how I was able to cut this out in this design. And this comes up to here, and then you'll have fabric that will run around this back to here. Prior, they had this cut straight, and they had this piece coming down, and it just looked awkward. No big deal. I mean, to me, it looked awkward. To most people, it would look good. And I've looked at a lot of pictures of these door panels, and some people do them straight across, just the way the old one was, and some people do it this way. Now, how I got these cut out, when I held this up here in the correct place, I hit on the cardboard, which left a mark to be drilled. And what I did is center this on that mark, drill the hole. Then I took this step-up bit and cleaned the hole up and made it look professional. The step-up bit takes most of the burr off the cardboard. And once you have that little top cut out and those two holes, we're ready to go forward. Okay, we're going to have a design in this. So what I need to do is put my chrome exactly where I want it. It has the fasteners under it. I'll make a mark where I want it. And then I'll go through and make a hole that this will push through and work through real easy once I have everything together. And the reason I'm doing that is I'm going to use two different kinds of fabric. I'm going to use a black leather here, and then a black leather with a little bit of a design up here. So this is the top, that's the front, that's the back of the door. Okay, I got it marked, and there I've got my holes punched. So now we know where our chrome's going. To punch those holes in there, all I used was a pick. I didn't want the holes to be very big, and I wanted the chrome to hold down tight. So this is what I used. I just put it right where I wanted it, gave it a little tap with a hammer, drove it through, and I had my holes done. So just kind of wanted to show you what I used. You could use a small drill if you wanted to, but this is a lot faster and I think easier. Now the next thing we'll be doing is laying our fabric on our backer board, and then I will attach the fabric to the backer board with these clips. You can get them in stationery at Walmart or about any place. I will attach them and then cut out the pattern. And there's our main pattern cut out. I've got to take it outside and put it on a warm hood and get that crease out of it. That's the main pattern, and then we'll come in with an insert pattern that I will cut here in a minute. Now what I'll do is line this up with the cut mark or the perforations I have. This will make the straight line across the bottom. Then I'll go to the top, mark it, and cut it. Okay, I got everything pretty well cut. I'll be making final cuts once we glue it down. But that's what it's going to look like. A little bit flatter black here, a little bit blacker black above the chrome. I really think that's going to look good. I wanted some contrast between it all. I had picked out another two different types of fabrics and found this and liked it. So I decided to go with this. Now when you're cutting it, don't forget you cut about, I always cut a 1/2 inch bigger for gluing. 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch works. So we kind of got everything cut. Let's get some foam on it. There we are. We just put our foam down, draw out where we want to cut. And that's our first piece. And then we'll cut a piece for this top. And then we'll have our foam. We'll be ready to glue it down. We got the foam cut, so it's now time to glue it down. I'll worry about the holes for the handles. And then I've got a little bit of trimming I'll do once the glue's dried on this. What we'll be using for this is a general trim adhesive. It's light duty, works good for side panels. My recommendation is take this outside and spray it so you don't get it on anything that you don't want to get it on. Spray it liberally and get it on the area where you're working. Since I have two pieces, I sprayed the bottom piece. I'm going to put it on, and then I will put the top piece on. There's the first piece put on, glued down. Like I said, I waited about a minute, laid it down there, and we're attached. Now, since I have two edges that are going to lay together, what I'll do is lay this where I want it, and I'll spray it, and I'll bring it this way as we glue it down, and that way it'll be tight, and I don't want any separation to where the two seams meet. When you're spraying your glue, make sure you get your edges real good. That's very crucial for it working good as you put everything together. The other thing I did was spray this edge real good, and that way both pieces will be glued together once I put them side by side and fasten them down. Okay, there is our foam on our panel, and let's give that about 15 minutes to dry, and then we will start working on our leather. Now to cut the design in it, I got a silver marker. I marked it, then I cut it. And right there's how the top part's going to lie. So what I'm going to do is put it underneath this chrome. I've got the chrome right where it needs to be in the holes. I will take this piece and glue it down. And I'll do the final cuts and gluing the edges after everything's dried on top. So let me get this glued down. What I'm going to do, pull this back, start at the center, glue this way, put it all down, and then glue the other way, and then I will wait for it to dry before I finish it. Once you start gluing this, you'll want something to roll it down tight. A can. I've got an upholstery roller, but of course I can't find it. So this can will do just fine. Take these fasteners and fasten your top edge so you don't get a lot of movement. And when you glue this, glue it liberally. During the dry time, it's good if you'll put some weight on top of it. What I did was lay a board on top of it, and then I've got some weight on it, and I will let that probably dry 15 or 20 minutes before going to the next step, which will be putting the bottom piece on. Now, if you remember under the dash, I did that in 3 different pieces, and I decided I wanted to do it in 2 pieces. So there's piece number 1. Piece number 2. And piece number 3. Those are the pieces that will fit from this side of the passenger side dash over to this piece right here that I've cut. Now I do need to have it in 2 pieces because that piece there where the stern column is, that is where my accessory panel is, and I want to have access to it, and also my fuse panel. So I'll have it to where I can take it off individually to get to those, and then I won't have to take the rest of this off. So I will trace this out. And once it's traced out, I will take my saw and cut it. I got it cut here, so let's go see how it fits. Okay, that fits great. Once we get it covered, it's going to look good on there. Fantastic. Now this piece I'll be covering without foam. I'm just going to cover it and put it on there. It's not a big deal that it has foam or anything on it. So now we got to get our fabric and trace out a pattern. Hey, one thing when you're cutting this out, make sure it fits on the car this way. So I need vinyl on this side. So you want to lay it down and mark it that way. That way when it glues on, you switch it over to be in the right spot. What I did, not paying attention the first time, was I cut it wrong. Didn't think it through. So there's a piece of wasted material. Those things happen. So now I've got it marked right. Now I'm going to cut it again. Okay, we got it cut out. And what we'll do is spray this, glue it all down, let it dry, and then we'll do the edges. Same thing, I have my chrome. I will take my silver marker and make a mark where I want the bottom piece cut. Once the panel dries, then we'll go around and roll the edges and glue them down. And we'll use these clips to hold them down. Now we've got all the material on the panels. We've got them glued down, let that dry, and now we've done the edges and we're going to let them dry. probably till tomorrow morning and get a good set on it. About 8 hours does it, but we'll just go 24 hours and go from there. Once we get all that done, I'll still need to cut the holes for these, which will just mean an X-Acto knife will cut an X and wrap it around and glue it also. Then we've got to fit the panel up here. And what I'm going to do is one at the top, one here, one here, one at the bottom. 4 up the edge, 5 across the bottom, 4 up this edge, and 3 across this top. And then our panel will be on. And I need to position it tomorrow once everything's dry to exactly where I want it. I'll clamp it down, and then I'll take a small drill, and I'm going to use black upholstery screws. You see in a lot of the old cars holding around the top of the bottom of the panels and stuff. That's what I'll go around the edge with that. I want to make them, measure and get the right amount of inches between them, so they look nice and even. And then I want to do them in a row also. I've got chrome. I'll have to go buy some black ones. I've actually got chrome ones. That's probably what I'll put on there tomorrow. Probably won't run out and buy anything brand new. But I want to put black so it's not noticeable. With the chrome strip on it, when I put the chrome on there, if I like it, I'll leave it. Most cars have chrome on it, but I think black's the way to go. Thought about making some fasteners to where I could punch it on like the newer cars in the 70s and on up. But I think these screws will look good. Most everybody uses it that way. And I think that it's a little bit easier. So I'm excited to let all these dry. Once I get this bottom done, then I'll be working on doing a template for this. So the rest of the day, I'll be covering our kick panels, and I'll be finishing the dash part, which I already have that vinyl on there. I've got to the second part by the wheel. I've got to take that off and get it glued down. And then where this extra bar right here was welded in when they put the air conditioner in, I will drill into this, and that's how I'm going to hold on the bottom part. And that'll have the doors and all this front part done the way I want it. Then I'll have to get me some black carpet and put in here. And then I'll go start fiddling with the back on what I want to do there. And I'm still working on seats. But slowly getting that done. I wanted to get this front part done so when I am going to be driving a little bit as I'm working on it. And it makes it feel better in here while I'm driving it. I will put some barrier paper up on this just to help it. Of course, the old truck car is not going to be out in the weather that much, so I'm not that worried about it, but I want to. And I want to get all this cleaned up and get some rust inhibitor in all these cracks and crevices in here. Kind of wished it was done before I got it. I'm not going to tear all this apart. I don't think I'll have a problem with it. So that will get, from this point forward, upholstery work done. And then I've got to kind of figure out the back. I've got to figure out how the headliner fits in and exactly what I want in the back. And I'm still kind of playing with that. So we've got plenty of upholstery work to do going forward. And as I do it, I will do a video on it. So I'm going to take time to finish up all this work the rest of this afternoon. And then let it dry. And then tomorrow or Wednesday, I will finish it off. So that's about it on the 36 today. We've got, I've got some ongoing work on the 68 truck, which I will video when we get around to it. I've got it, I've been sealing it. I've got a little bit of work to do on the cab, and then I'll be ready to seal the cab and seal the interior. and so I can start can paint the interior, and then get out of the interior and start painting the cab, fenders, hood of the truck. So I'll give you some updates and videos on that. And then all my parts have came in for my Buick, and we're getting ready to put some all our brakes on there, all our fuel lines, so the car will run up and down the road. So we're excited about that. On it, I'm running all the lines and stuff. I bought the original lines. I'm not going to put power brakes on it right off the bat. I want to get everything running and going and working properly. Then I'm going to come back and put power brakes on it with front disc brakes. But that'll come after I get everything else lined out. Like I said, I've got to put fuel lines on it and all the brake lines, and I'm putting new cylinders in it. And I'll probably drive it around with the drum brakes for a short bit until I get ready to make the other switches. I've got some, I've laid out a plan on that car. And the first thing was to get it running and driving. So we've got all our parts there. I've got the motor in it. It starts and runs good. I need to get all my lines ran. Once I get all my lines ran, I'll put it on my trailer, take it over to the exhaust guy, and have my exhaust put on it. Then once I have my exhaust put on it, I will come back and put my wheels on it. And what we're putting is 16-inch GTA wheels on it. For the time being, I do have some, forgot who made some aftermarket wheels over here that I might put on it and see how it works. Hey, if you want to see them, let's take a walk over there and take a look at these wheels. There we go, some Reeler wheels. Possibility I put them on it, but I can't swear to it. I am got some tires coming in for them, so either way, it's going on the car, and I might possibly put the tires on there, put them on there, and see what I think. I really think the GTA wheels will look good on this. And I very well might put some 18s instead of 16s on there, but first of all, I want to get it running so I can pull it in and out, run it on its own. There's all the lines and stuff on the top. So tomorrow, what I'm going to be doing is taking all the cylinders off, and then I will come back and pull it out, put it on the lift, and then we'll put all the brake lines, fuel lines, and all that on, and then hopefully everything will be good to go on it, and we can get it running up and down the road, and then start finishing off all the little nicks and nannies and stuff that we want to do. This Buick, bought it because it's a rust-free car, and it's hard to find a 60s model rust-free car. It's a 66 Buick Special. I think I've showed it on a couple of videos before. And my buddy up in Kentucky is a big Buick fan. He's got a 67 Grand Sport, another 67 Grand Sport 340. The other one is a 400. Then he's got a 65 Skylark, and then he's got a Nash with a 401 nailhead in it, Metropolitan. And I've worked on some of his cars, and I really love the way a Buick is built. And I've become to love the way a Buick looks. You know, I really think that front end is as pretty as a Chevelle front end. Of course, your body is basically Chevelle, Oldsmobile, Le Mans, and Buick are all built on the same cage, just different sheet metal on it. But this is a good, solid car. And what I love about the Special is not a lot of chrome. Doesn't have the chrome on the bottom. It has the one piece of chrome on the back. Right there. And then it has the portholes up front. So I haven't decided if the portholes are going to stay or go. But I'm not planning on painting this car. I've got a real good, strong 350 in it that I might go back and rebuild a little stouter, but I just want it to be, I want it to look great. I want this original paint to stay on it. I've got a little bit of work to do the hood because they'd switched the hood out because it did get damaged when the fender got punched a little bit. So I'll probably put some kind of paint on it and kind of make it match, but it's got primer here and there on the car where a couple of dings and stuff have been fixed. And I'm not going to change that. I just wanted to, I always wanted a rat rod. Now, will this car continue to be a rat rod? I don't know. But my first initial is running, wheels, and go from there. So I'm pretty excited about it. I kind of like the old car. And that interior just blows my mind, the dark and light blue. I've got some bucket seats, 66, I think they come out of a Le Mans. And they'll be going in this with a floor shifter eventually, because this car will eventually have a 700 R4 in it. Have a floor shifter and console and bucket seats. And I will do the bucket seats to match this blue. I'm not going to change the interior color. I might want to. And I don't know how long I'm going to like this blue. But got to think about leaving cars the way they were. And it's, like I said, it's going to pop. That blue does pop on the inside. So I get excited about getting it done. So that's what I'm going to be working on the rest of this week. And I'll probably add a couple of videos together this week and possibly post them next week. Maybe later on this week I might post another video. So got some decent comments, and I appreciate the comments. This is my hobby. My daughter and I like to flip a couple of cars a year in order to be able to afford my hobby. And right now we're like the 36. Going to get that interior done, and I'm going to use it next year for a few car shows and stuff. Not the typical car that I would be driving to car shows, but I will be. And then my Buick, I just want to get it done and get it driving again, so I can go to some car shows and go to the Buick Nationals next year is what I want to do, to Bowling Green, which I hear it could be the last one. And I want to definitely take a friggin' Buick to the Buick Nationals before it ends. And I'm continuing to work on the GTO, sanding the top off. Long process, probably won't be done for a couple more weeks. I do a little bit every few days, and then we'll be going from there. I'll be doing metal work. This thing will be going on the Power Tour in 23, along with my daughter's Le Mans, and it's not going to be painted. I think I said that before, but that's what we're working on this week. And hey, come back and see me. Hope y'all are enjoying this, and hey, have a great day.